T minus 3, 2, 1, ignition.
What you know about this life? Yeah. Just relax, baby, get high. Yeah, you're on your way to the best night ever. No top on it, no top.
What up? This is Cam with your Week 5 recap. We're going to kick this off with a special fantasy edition of NFL Primetime's Fastest 2 Minutes. Here we go. We start in a tale of two QBs as Baker Mayfuck and Phillip Rivers combine for a whopping negative 3.86 points. Kupp, Ertz, and Gurley tried to repair the damages, but Kirk Cousins fucker had his best game of the season, and Lil Nas Flex shows off their muscle. Andrew 149, Cam 92. And now we head to the Bay Area, where Russet TB12 DeGoat try to save the day man, but Aaron Jones pays the troll toll and gets all up in that boy's hole. Thomas 226, Nick 160. And now we go to the heavyweight showdown of Bobby vs. Jacob. McCaffrey and Cooper throw a combo strike for 86 points, but Jacob says, "Bravo, Watson," as he throws 5 TDs, and My Girlfriend Owns Me rides on the backs of the Eagles like Frodo and Sam. Bobby 161, Jacob 195. And finally, the Pele's of Anal try their luck at a gangbang as Sully MJ bukkakis all over them with only 9 players scoring. Greg the Leg gives Connor the boot as Connor falls to 1-4. Michael 135, Connor 87. All right, now let's go over these matchups just a little more in depth. We'll start off with myself versus Andrew. Kind of self-explanatory. When your quarterbacks combine for negative points, I don't think you're going to win, especially in a 2 QB league. Andrew had a solid week with Kirk Cousins going 20 plus, having his game of the season so far, and both Edelman and Lindsey go 20 plus as well. You just hate to see it. Andrew, final score, Andrew 149, myself 92. Next matchup is T-Bay versus Nick Hill. T-Bay had Michael Thomas and Chris Godwin and Aaron Jones just fucking go off. And there was just nothing Nick Hill could do, even though his team had a really solid week. That Pats D had 17, though. I mean, go Pats, right, Nick? But ultimately just wasn't enough, so final score, T-Bay 226, Nick Hill 160. Next matchup, we got Bobby versus Jacob. Bobby had more than half of his points coming from only 2 players, which is fucking insane. But honestly, Jacob's team just went off. I mean, both Mahomes and Watson just destroyed, Watson in particular. Plus, Eagles defense getting 37 points. Not a whole lot you can do there when you're the other team. So final score, Jacob 195, Bobby 161. Final matchup is Michael versus Connor. Not a whole lot going on for Connor's team, especially when Lamar Jackson only goes for 7.44 points. Keenan Allen has a shitty game because Phillip Rivers fucking sucked. I can attest to that. Plus, Michael's team had a pretty solid week, even with Mike Evans putting up the fat goose egg. We had that final score, Michael 135, Connor 87. Now let's get to some Week 6 predictions. Should be a big week for a lot of teams. You got teams like myself who are really just clawing to try to stay relevant in this league. And then you got the heavyweights. You got Bobby, Michael, and Jacob, who are all trying to fight to see who's the top dog of this league. So our first matchup is myself versus Jacob. Something about this matchup tells me that all of my players are going to do great and all of Jacob's are going to suck ass. So I got myself winning handsomely this week. Next up, we got Connor versus T-Bay. I have no doubt that since I traded Connor, Julio Jones, and Melvin Gordon, they're going to destroy this week, simply because they're no longer on my team. So I got Connor by a slim margin in that matchup. Next up, we got Andrew versus Bobby. Bobby's got the big guns with Christian McCaffrey and Amari Cooper set to go off again this week. So I got Bobby in this matchup. Plus, ever since Andrew had his weekly recap and called my team overrated, I haven't won a game. So fuck you, Andrew. I hope you lose. Next up, we've got America's Game of the Week. It's Michael versus Nick Hill. This one was the toughest call out of all of them. But honestly, I think the Seahawks are going to dominate the Browns, which leaving OBJ with only a few points, and Russell Wilson is going to dominate. So I got Nick Hill by a slim margin. I'll leave you with my bold prediction for Week 6, that Christian McCaffrey goes off for 300 all-purpose yards against the Buccaneers, figuratively breaking his back in half as he carries Bobby's team to victory. Well, that is it for your Week 5 recap. Good luck this weekend, everybody.